Okay, we got a video for the Moondrop Joker. The Joker, let's talk about the Joker. Before we continue, let's talk about what I'm going to do, not what you have to do. I'm going to give the hype to, I gotta redo these videos, to somebody who comments below this video and is a subscriber, and I'm going to put them in a wheel, spin it, put their avatar in a video, and when they spot themselves, they contact me. And I confirm, like I did to the previous video that I gave you a hint, the Laura Simpson avatar, person contacted me, they got the Falcon Pro Ultra, the blue one. Anyway, they got confirmed and it's going to be sent out probably within the next week or two. This set, the Venus, was given away. That person successfully contacted me. This will be going out by the end of the month. It's a big package. Speaking of Moondrop doing a good job when they want to, this is a set. This is planar. I really like this set. I think the dude that got this absolutely super scored. You were supposed to get the Beautiful World, but that didn't work out. You did really well, bro. This is a very good set. And the contrast between that and these, the Joker, but these, is stark. Let's talk about build quality. The build quality is essentially the same as the Void. It's quite cheap. There's a jet flying over. It can't be helped. They basically repurposed the leftover stuff from the Void, which is what companies do. This didn't really do as well as probably they hoped, so just get rid of the extra stuff, paint it black. The difference on this that's obvious is that padding on the headband is more substantial. These pads are more comfortable than these kind of plastic ones, so on the head this is a more comfortable set. But build quality is, I guess, in its price range what you get, though I think it's just, I don't know that I would use something like this. It's a little bit too cheap for me. The build quality is quite poor. There's not really much more to say about that. This could break easily. And it's really like the Void if you're familiar with that set. Let's talk about the build a little bit more and how you might imagine. I didn't look at the graph before I got this because I'm busy. I got a kid now, and I'm going to hear it myself and then I can check the graph. I imagine that the Joker was going to be maybe more bassy because a lot of times set that's are closed back. Let's look at I got the Mod House Audio Argon over there. It's a bassy set, but it's a planar and it's great. That's the HE6SE V2. I get the thus far in the box because I'm paranoid of it getting scratches on it because it seems like it scratches easy. Hi-Fi man and build quality, sometimes. But that's a bassy set and it's closed back, and that's a good bassy set, and it's planar. A lot of people associate closed back with congested, stuffy, bassy, and then they associate open backs with maybe lacking bass, sense of space, psychoacoustic illusion of a virtual stage being around because of ambient noise leaking in from all directions, like somebody's walking in a room and you can hear them, but you can also hear music. Like if you were at a live concert, you would hear the music in addition to all the things around you, which is what closed back don't allow you to do. The perception, however, is not the reality with this set, as the Void is the set that's got more low frequency, and it's actually kind of a bass neutral set to this listener because it's not really bassy at all, because you could take a couple of dB off of that graph. This is Mark Superview's graph, so thanks to him. Because it's open back, that it doesn't really sound bassy. Actually, it might lack in some clarity and cleanliness to some, but it's not bassy, and the open back kind of balances out the fact that it does have an elevated bass that goes out to about 800 hertz. Now, I think that that's a better tune set than what I'm reviewing today, which is the Joker. Let me see if I can get my cursor over here and then eliminate this. I want to point out something in particular. This is like an educational thing. Let's make this positive. You see a gain that essentially starts at 400 hertz and just keeps going up to a ski slope that's almost, there's not a lot to do quite like this. And then it Olympic ski jumps right off. And then it's got a peak that's about a kilohertz wide, 1000 hertz. From 2 to 3, it's boosted. And then from 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 5 to 6, it's cut out. That is very interesting, and that has direct impacts of how you listen to music. Let's talk about bass, mids, and treble. Let's talk about bass first. There really isn't a lot of bass. It is closed back, but it doesn't sound like it's really got much bass. Bass guitars, the kick drum in Bonham's intro, the iconic one for When the Levee Breaks, does not sound like I expect it to. It's not authoritative. It's a kick drum, I can hear it, but it doesn't sound as thumpy as it should be. Pulls and releases of bass guitar strings on Please Do Not Go by the Violent Femmes sound somewhat unnatural. There's no snap to the bass strings. Mids are, if we're talking about mids and upper mids, which is just this giant slope, it's a very, very odd replay. And this I'm listening to right now, Aerosmith's Greatest Hits. And in particular, I've got two different versions, DSD and FLAC. Right now I'm listening to Same Old Song and Dance, but Dream On has a gong at the beginning. And I'm bringing that up because a lot of that exists kind of up in the treble at the end of Dream On. There's also a version at the beginning of Kashmir by Led Zeppelin where it's the intro to the song. I noticed a lot in my years that with IEMs, and I'm discovering with headphones, that when you have a very pronounced boost followed by a very noticeable cut right next to each other in the ear gain region, you can sometimes get a wobble effect with certain instruments that have a single type of, like a for a gong. There's not different things going on. It's not a vocalist hitting different ranges. It's a single instrument, and it's decaying. And while it's decaying, it's got emphasis and de-emphasis right next to each other. It gives a audible wobble. It does the same thing to cymbal strikes. It's very unnatural. Now, that is something that you might be able to overlook. I can't, but in the same album, Aerosmith's Greatest Hits, we're talking about a vocalist named Steven Tyler. Everything that Steven sings sounds like it's kind of coming out of it's kind of a overused statement to say something sounds like it's coming out of a paper cup. But that would probably be the best way to describe how this handles the treble and the upper treble. It sounds very unnatural, and the way that this is handling vocal harmonics is not as clear as a single event like a cymbal strike or a gong, where it is whoom, up and down, and it gives you this audible wobble that when you go listen to a set that doesn't have that type of treble tuning and you compare the two, you can hear that what you think you're hearing is in fact what you are hearing. There is a unintended impact going on that sounds like a fade in, fade out because of the tuning. Vocals have the same thing, but it's because vocal is changing constantly. You're not able to pinpoint it. It just sounds very odd, and the best way to put it is that it sounds like it's like a paper cup. It's kind of echoey, not a reverb because that's an almost pleasant warm sound. It's kind of the opposite of that. It's a thinness. It's an unnatural sound. This isn't a set that I would recommend, obviously. It's a repurposed. This is like the Stellaris Starfield 2. It's kind of like a repurposing, but it doesn't seem like it really. I'm just going to say pass. I will note that Moondrop does do good stuff when they put their mind to it. The Venus is a great example of that. I somewhat regret that I gave this away, because I listened to it today while I was comparing it with these, and like, this company made this, man. Like, this is really good stuff. They're just not putting in the effort over there, but I'm not going to talk about the company. I'm just going to review the gear right now, and I think that this was not a set that I would recommend for a library that has vocals. A library that's anything like mine. Certainly not for people that want a stout, strong, what I consider audiophile bass representation with a drum sound about the way that they're supposed to. In the mastering, again, I always refer to Bonham's kick drum. The peers of his time that reviewed it in Parade Magazine, Rolling Stone noted Bonham's. They do videos just about the song. That's how iconic it is. So I can cite that, not just my preference. That's the way it was interpreted by people at the time that it was released in '71, I think. And then go listen to it and think, it just sounds like a kick drum intro. And then listen to it on something else. It's like, boom, tsh, boom, boom, boom. Oh, wow. Well, that's how it was done. That's how they intended you to hear it. That's how everybody interpreted it at the time. If that's the kind of stuff you like, this is not for you. If you want vocals to be pristine and clean, this is not for you. So who it's for, I'm not sure. It's not for me. I am sure. So that's it. That's the Joker by Moondrop. Yeah, I got nothing positive to say, except that when they put the mind to it, they do great stuff. And don't forget about the hype too. There was a previous video for that, but I've got to redo all of it. It's not about what you can do for me, it's about what I can do for you. I go down, I check the comment section, I find all the subscribers, I gather them together, I spin the wheel, and boom, put the picture in a video and you find it. But I can say, can you give me a thumbs up if you like the video, because that will help with the algorithm, and I'd appreciate that. So that's it. Around October, November, this hobby is going to start picking up super steam. A lot of big things are going to be released. So there's kind of this slowness that's going on the past few weeks that's about to get very speedy. So hold on to your hats. And I can't figure out the color pattern to do with that. There's just so many options. I'm not satisfied with that. And I'm out.